गलती, कौमी गलती ये हुई हैं, ये लैप्सेस हुई हैं। कोई ज़रूरत नहीं थी मुजाहिदीन तैयार करने की।
हिंदुस्तान में मस्जिदों के नमाजियों के साथ वो कुछ नहीं होता जो पाकिस्तान में हो रहा है। ना इजराइल में मस्जिदों के नमाजियों के साथ वो कुछ होता है जो पाकिस्तान में होता है।
Pakistan is in shock. At least 100 dead, more than 220 injured in the Peshawar mosque suicide bombing. And this is a mosque in a ultra high security area in the Peshawar police lines. Now, police lines is where you have policemen staying, working. There's an IG office here. There's a Peshawar cantonment not far from here. There's the High Court of Peshawar. The Khyber Road, anyways, is a very important road there. And this is where, according to Pakistani media, the suicide bomber managed to cross multiple tiers of security. But there is a bigger issue that Pakistan's Defence Minister Khwaja Asif and Pakistan's Interior Minister Rana Sanaullah are talking about. So let's first talk about what their Defence Minister is saying. Khwaja Asif says there is time and there is a need to build consensus for an operation like Zarb-e-Azb. Zarb-e-Azb means the sword of the Prophet. It was a massive operation that was mounted in 2014, July 2014, against terrorists. Now, Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan and its affiliated terrorist organizations, according to Rana Sanaullah and several others, nurtured once by the Pakistani state. In fact, he took a bigger, broader picture when he said that there was no need for Pakistan to create the Mujahideen or the holy warriors to fight the Soviet Union, which is what happened in Pakistan, where to be with America, General Zia-ul-Haq created these holy warriors, the Mujahideen, to fight the Soviets in Afghanistan. And all those Mujahideens, Rana Sanaullah very rightly says, Pakistan's Interior Minister, they subsequently became terrorists. So America went back victorious. Pakistan was left to deal with terrorists.
उसने ये जंग जो है जो अफगानिस्तान में थी वो हमारी दहलीज के अंदर आ गई, हमारे घरों में आ गई, हमारे बाजारों में आ गई, हमारी मस्जिदों में आ गई, हमारे स्कूलों में आ गई, हमारी पब्लिक प्लेसेस पे आ गई.
But you know that's half truth. Pakistan actually used these terrorists. Pakistan used terror as an instrument of their national policy. They've used these terrorists in Afghanistan, they've used these terrorists against India, and over the course of this broadcast, I'll tell you details. Now, Pakistan is feeling the pain, but this isn't the first time that Pakistan is feeling this pain. Remember December 16, 2014, and this is after Zarb-e-Azb. Zarb-e-Azb, according to Pakistan, was one of its most successful ever anti-terrorist organization, and incidentally, Pakistan did use heavy artillery, its infantry, its helicopter gunships, and even fighter jets against terrorists, and they cleared a major part of the area. But Pakistan left it midway. They didn't wipe out terrorists. They started, they didn't end it, and terrorists struck back. December 2014, one of the worst terror attacks ever on Pakistan was when terrorists struck Army Public School in Peshawar, the same Peshawar that's been targeted now. In the same Peshawar, Army Public School, Army children were killed, 150 people were massacred, including 134 children, and Pakistan was stunned. December 16 anyway for Pakistan is a black day. In 1971, you'd recall Pakistan Army had surrendered to the Indian Army. December 16, 1971, Bangladesh was born. 93,000 Pakistan Army soldiers had surrendered to the Indian Army. So December 16 has a connotation for Pakistan, and then again on December 16, 2014, Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan attacked Army Public School Peshawar, and 134 children, in all 150 people were killed in that terror attack. But did Pakistan start an operation all out, for that matter, against terrorists? It didn't. Sadly, it didn't, even though it claimed it did. Why wasn't it an all-out operation? That only Pakistan Army and Pakistan ISI can give more details, and hopefully they will in times to come. Or was it, as General Asad Durrani, former DGISI, said in an interview to a foreign network, that this was collateral damage? Shocking to any civilized person. But for Pakistan, the death of 150 people was collateral damage for the high stakes game that Pakistan was playing for its strategic depth in Afghanistan and to drive out America. Imagine, Pakistan started supporting the Mujahideen to drive out Soviet Union for United States. It was a lackey of the United States that time. Then it used these terrorists against India. The same terrorists were killing its own people, and to now drive out the NATO forces or the ISAF, International Security Assistance Force, from Afghanistan and regain that strategic depth. Pakistan supported terrorists, including having its own children killed and calling it collateral damage. Now, the question that many are asking, are the deaths of these 100 people also the same collateral damage for Pakistan's ISI in this high stakes game for Afghanistan? And if it is, then it's a very silly, stupid game that Pakistan Army and ISI are playing. It just defies logic. But why is India not impressed with Pakistan's war on terror? Look, after Army Public School Peshawar, when 150 people were killed, Pakistan claimed it was going all out. That's December 2014. Prime Minister Narendra Modi, when he took over as Prime Minister, the year again was 2014, he made a lot of effort to be friends with Pakistan, which goes against the grain of a person who was very vocal about cracking down on Pakistan state-sponsored terror when he was Chief Minister of Gujarat. He invited Nawaz Sharif to India for his swearing and invited all the SAARC heads of state and governments, and that was the time that Pakistan actually attacked an Indian mission, a consulate in Afghanistan. And we've talked about it in the past. But let me come back to the 2015. Prime Minister Narendra Modi went to Lahore unannounced, and it was a huge gamble. The effort was to improve ties with Pakistan, and in 2016, terrorists struck Pathankot. Now, were these non-state actors? There is enough evidence in public domain or enough information in public domain that seems to indicate that both Jaish-e-Mohammed and Pakistan ISI were operating in tandem before those terrorists were launched, not across the line of control, because line of control was fairly strong, but across the international border. The information that we have, incidentally, ISI was called and invited to come to Pathankot and investigate, and details that emerged seem to indicate that some of these terrorists of Jaish-e-Mohammed were caught by rangers. The ISI went and had them released, and then they were launched and sent to India. Now, that is when India realized that Pakistan continues to speak with a folk tongue. 150 of its own children have been killed by terrorists, and yet it launches terrorists in a neighboring country. So then it was very clear to India that Pakistan is a gone case. Just let them be. There is nothing that can reform this terror state. And having covered Pakistan state-sponsored radical Islamist terror for decades, the Kargil war, the Red Fort attack, the Parliament attack, the attacks that have subsequently taken place, 26/11, Gujarat attack, Indian Institute of Sciences attack in Bangalore, the Jaipur terror attack, the attack on the Jammu and Kashmir Assembly, several other attacks that have taken place, Pakistan state-sponsored radical Islamist terror attacks in our country. I am convinced that Pakistan will not reform, especially when it comes to India. So when Rana Sanaullah says that creating Mujahideen was a collective national mistake, or when Khwaja Asif talks about building consensus to have another Operation Zarb-e-Azb and claim that they will go after terrorists of all hue without distinction of good terrorists and bad terrorists like they claimed in Zarb-e-Azb, will they actually do that? I have my doubts. Will Pakistan Army, for example, or ISI go after Lashkar-e-Taiba or Jaish-e-Mohammed? Let me give you another nugget. The same Jaish-e-Mohammed tried to kill Pervez Musharraf when Pervez Musharraf was president of Pakistan. India had the intelligence. India shared that intelligence according to sources with Pakistan, and that module was bust. Pervez Musharraf survived. Pervez Musharraf should have been grateful to India. Pervez Musharraf should have gone after Jaish-e-Mohammed and that Maulana of terror, Masood Azhar. But did he? He did not. Pakistan continues to use Jaish-e-Mohammed against India. Pakistan continues to use Lashkar-e-Taiba against India. Pakistan continues to harbor Dawood Ibrahim Kaskar, responsible for 257 deaths in Mumbai in 1993. So, when Pakistan lost 150 people in Peshawar at Army Public School, or that recent December attack on CTD, Counter-Terrorism Department headquarters in Bannu, or this Peshawar mosque attack in which 100 people have been killed, there may be sympathy coming Pakistan's way. There are many who think this could well be collateral damage or Pakistan's effort to get sympathy and funds from the West. They've tried it in the past. In fact, even APS Peshawar, there are reports within Pakistan that talk about how Pakistan was in the international doghouse, and post Army Public School Peshawar, it managed to get out of that doghouse. So is Pakistan, the deep state, the heartless, soulless deep state of Pakistan doing something like that? There is no evidence to indicate that, at least as of now. But clearly no sympathy. Sympathy, yes, with the people who've been impacted. Sympathy, yes, with those who've been affected. But with the Pakistani deep state, there needs to be more than just words. Pakistan needs to clean up its act. Pakistan Army, Pakistan ISI. You see, Imran Khan does not consider TTP a terrorist organization. In fact, he wanted to bring them on board. Remember when the Afghan Taliban took over Afghanistan, Pakistan celebrated. DG ISI General Faiz Hamid went to that Serena hotel and was sipping a cup of coffee and saying words to the effect that Pakistan has everything under control. So does Pakistan actually have everything under control? But when you have a prime minister, a former prime minister like Imran Khan who's sympathetic, when you have Pakistan ISI that's sympathetic to these terrorist organizations, what do you say? Will Pakistan launch another Zarb-e-Azb in the right earnest without distinction between good terrorists and bad terrorists? It may want money from the West, it may want support from the West, it may want weapons, but and America also needs to wisen up. To fight terrorists, you don't need F-16s and you don't need beyond visual range missiles. So in Pakistan's war on terror, Pakistan should not be given F-16s and long-range missiles. That is something, then you know that both Pakistan and America are playing a very dangerous game. India is very clear. If terrorists come our way, the terrorists will be sorted out. Balakot, I think, has been a brilliant message to a state sponsor of terror. There are other ways and other messages that a state sponsor of terror will get. The government's made that very clear. But for Pakistan's civil society, for people in Pakistan, they need to wake up. They need to question people like, of course, Pervez Musharraf is now, he's on a wheelchair. But remember, he is a butcher. He's killed people in Balochistan. He actually is a war criminal. So Pervez Musharraf is also responsible for the Kargil war. He may be on a wheelchair today, but he should be held accountable for so many innocents dying. There are other generals in Pakistan and Imran Khan. Will Imran Khan be held accountable? Will people question Imran Khan for his policy on TTP and bringing so many people into Pakistan with families, releasing people who were in jail on very serious charges? Those who were facing death sentence, as the government today asked, they were let off. So Pakistan needs to clean up its act without the distinction between good terrorists and bad terrorists.
For more informative videos like this, keep watching India Today News Mo.